From the good warriors, loyal, the greatest discipline in contemporary world history, through all the harsh trials, it seems to exceed the human limit. They carry the mission, devoted to the prosperity and honor of the great, strongest in the world. Yes, that's what people describe. It's not just about the SEAL. Of the United States Navy, they're also elite warriors. Of the Air Corps, special. It's a special operations unit of the British SAS. Although different in organization, but both, they're all recognized as special forces. Top elite in the world is the goal towards of the younger task forces, like China's SAF. So how? To the great powers, it's possible to create elite warriors, and in these two special forces, he deserves to be the ideal model of special forces around the world. Don't take your eyes off the screen. 5 seconds, the world Unfiltered will answer all in today's video. Maybe you don't know, it's also one of those endless topics of Hollywood filmmakers. Not like the FBI and CIA with these abilities and feats are somewhat exaggerated, far away from reality. SEAL is a task force of the Special Operations Command. The US Navy specializes in carrying out missions. It's the most complex and risky part of the US military, as exactly direct action to rescue the hostages. Anti-terrorism. Although trained to be able to operate in any popular combat, from the coastal jungle, urban highland to Arctic and desert SA. They are special units of the world's most powerful navy. The main activities of SEAL still revolving around countries or coastal territories. However, in recent times, operating frequency of SEAL in areas that are deep in places, as in Afghanistan, it's on the rise, including the mission, training of local armed units, and long-term reconnaissance. Although the selection criteria are not based on currency, but to be eligible for SEAL admission, at least you must be a US citizen male, graduated from high school, are under the age of 30, and got a responsibility test score capacity assessment. Operations conducted by the United States military, over 220 applicants must also have a good track record. SEAL absolutely will not accept candidates with a bad past associated with alcohol, drugs. If the application requirements are met, applicants will have to complete the tests of the required minimum physical ability as swimming 460 meters in less than 12 minutes 30 seconds, push-ups 42 times in 2 minutes, stand up and sit down 50 times in 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes break, you're going to have to pull the bar 10 times in 2 minutes. Run more than 2.4 kilometers in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Known, the selection rate among SEAL participants is extremely high. According to statistics on SEALsWCC.com, every year there are more than 1,000 applicants starting training courses. Selection of SEAL, but only 200 to 250 people succeed. If you meet all the recruitment requirements, congratulations, you are eligible to register. Join the legendary SEAL force. But that doesn't mean you can withstand the most severe challenges in the SEALs training camps. Specific, after completing preliminary training at the camp, you will have to join the destruction program. Underwater basic lasts 24 weeks. This program is designed so that candidates are equipped with skills, command and endurance, both physically and mentally, needed for a SEAL realistic task force. Maybe you don't know, SEALs physical exercises were very focused on improving self-healing. It's the body's ability to adapt positively, or recovering from injuries, physically or psychologically. If a person lets their body get hurt to a certain extent and then recover with enough frequency, his body will adapt by speeding up the speed of recovery. At the same time, improve physical strength, help to cope with similar injuries. It can happen in harsh environments. That's the SEAL training program will make the most of recovery. In the most scientific way, the soldiers were still able to coordinate combat, making decisions even in dangerous situations, or carrying wounds inside, serious compared to ordinary people. Complete this program, You will continue. You have to complete another training before being deployed with special operations teams. Parachute basic medical skills, learning foreign languages, communication tactics of SEALs, sniper skills, explosive device disassembly. After nearly 15 months of training, you'll graduate and be assigned to special operations teams. You, as well as other super special agents, will be entitled to a starting salary of $60,000 and many other benefits, like paying off college loans, toxic allowance when parachuting, scuba diving, or explosive fencing. Even if it's not deployed, you still have to invest in training programs, learn new skills, and improve existing capabilities to easily adapt to many special situations. Make a difference when you're on the battlefield. Next to the officially recognized team, up to 8,000 people, SEAL has another special unit. It's called SEAL Team 6. Even though it's one of the secret military organizations, it's the most rumored in the United States. SEAL Team 6 names from 2015. Famous all over the world after killing Osama bin Laden in the campaign in Pakistan, and some sweeping campaigns killed the Al-Qaeda and Taliban leaders soon after. Only in the word phase from 2011 to 2015, SEAL Team 6, with just 300 special forces and 1,500 support personnel, has carried out over 10,000 missions and campaigns, became a notorious unit, the best and most brutal of the US military. According to many military experts, only the members of SEAL Team 6 is good enough to compare with Special Forces fighters, British Air Force SAS, based on the similarity in combat proficiency, as well as the combat skills they possess. It's one of the first task forces in the world. SAS was founded in the 1941. It's about the size of a regiment. To 1950, the scale of SAS is expanded up to about 3 regiments. Each SAS regiment is organized with 4 teams, numbered B. D and G each have 65 men. Each team is divided into 4 small teams with 15 men, a team without a leader. In each patrol group of 15 people, there will be 4 people trained with special expertise: radio signal processing, mine removal, medical, or linguistics, beyond the basic skills of a commando. Every SAS agent must master diving skills, parachute, sniper, combat hand, fight in most harsh environments, from arid deserts to sacred places, poisonous water. Their screening process, SAS selection, is also often strict, and it's much more complicated compared to SEAL. Every year, SAS usually holds 2 recruitment rounds in the summer. In the autumn, in it, location of regular recruitment in the village, Jenny Bridge and the Bone of Blacknocks in Wales, the opportunity to become a member of the SAS. Only the nationality of the land of fog. It's not enough that the candidates have to be soldiers of the UK Armed Forces, and mostly the successful applicants. They're all among the best fighters, from Royal Marines of the British Royal Navy or paratroopers. However, there are still cases where the candidate is an excellent soldier. Of the reserve units, because of the strict requirements of the platform, physical and combat skills. So every SAS recruit, usually only 200 applicants are selected, meet the criteria set out. If you meet all the physical conditions, applicants will enter the pre-selection process with marching tests, walk 64 kilometers in 20 hours, run 6.4 kilometers in 30 minutes, swim 3.2 kilometers in a maximum of 90 minutes. After the pre-qualification, candidates continue to undergo training, prolonged strengthening within 6 months. The first phase of this training is called the Hills. This process takes 3 weeks with armed combat exercises, increasing in volume and length. In the final test, students will have to carry 24.5 kilograms of equipment, marching on a distance of 65 kilometers. It must be completed in less than 24 hours, newly evaluated as satisfactory. The candidates who have passed the entrance exercise, they will be sent by your army, the primeval forests. For the next training course, students will find a way to survive and moving in the forest in the harsh conditions, with the hypothesis of being behind enemy lines. 4 weeks of Phase 2. Students only live on ready-made food. They have to learn how to survive in the forest, as long as the equipment not damaged by the climate, as well as how to use weapons, equipment of foreign countries. Even when you have injuries, serious injury, or suffer from weakness due to rare sleep time and malnourished food, while not getting any support from the base, candidates are still not allowed to give up until you pass the test. To the next stage, the soldiers will be taken to mock prisons. Is simulated, that's right, according to real military prisons in history. There, applicants will be given special care by training officers. It's the SAS soldiers. According to that, these training officers will be conducted by torture. Torture and torture. It's the worst the enemy can do. When they catch England's soldiers, including measures from friendly contact, to dig out the next private life. To end this hellish ordeal, the candidates have no other choice, in addition to perfecting prison escape skills and hide in accordance with the requirements set forth by the SAS. This is also considered a challenge. Killed many of the England's elite soldiers. I've even seen many cases of candidates. Even when you've overcome the challenge, they can still be beaten by the coaches if they recognize that your physical condition and psyche is showing signs. Seriously injured, it is difficult to recover in a short time. It's because of these crazy challenges, so after each training session, it's only about 10, up to 30 applicants pass the selection process. Even in the 60s, also noted, there was a period when the SAS couldn't recruit more soldiers. After surviving and completing all the challenges, these elite soldiers will be recognized as qualified and start the training. From very basic combat skills, like attacking a target in a building, breaking in from the roof after a helicopter crash, destroying the building with a small explosive, fighting in the pipeline, terrorist attack on the bus, subway, and destroy hijackers. To increase authenticity for training sessions, all the vehicles, everything from the bus to the plane is real, with the soldiers you played as terrorists or hostages. But because it's a British Air Force task force, so amphibious combat skills, the road is always on top. SAS recruits will have 4 weeks of joint training. Airborne landing by parachute at the training school's base, best parachute of the British Air Force, near Bright, Britain. The training is parachuting from the means of transport. The road is no different. This facility is also a training facility for professional landing thread no. But the obsession with being eliminated after a long period of effort has not stopped following the SAS warriors, even in the process of doing the job. According to regulations, every commando is only allowed to make small mistakes. One time only. If they reoffend, they'll be expelled from the unit permanently. This has happened since the First War. In World War II, the SAS has proven to be a very effective force. An indispensable contribution to make these big victories of the British Royal Army before the Nazi coalition on the North African front. From 1940 to 1943, Battle Lofoten in 1943, Campaign 1944-1945, and then there's activities at Borneo to help Malaysia in the war against Indonesia. Even in recent years, Kingdom of England, even the overall power, is not a superpower, like before World War II. But England's military is still one of the best military, top of the world, even though the size of this army is much smaller compared to other powerful countries, like the US, Russia, and China. And it recorded not a small contribution to reputation of the SAS Special Forces during the invasion of Iraq in 2003, with short-lived precision raids. In Afghanistan, the SAS also has landings. Sweep of the Taliban in 2001. And in Libya, the SAS, they are believed to have supported anti-government groups to take over big cities like Tripoli, assist in tracing out the hiding place of Gaddafi. To this day, SAS training program, still considered a model to refer to for special forces training on Western nations, like France, Spain, and the SEAL of the United States. Even the SEAL Team 6 training program. There are also a lot of references from SAS, like melee skills and break-in and ambush. But the most remarkable of them are intensive training programs in missions aimed at enemy leaders, such as the raid on Osama bin Laden's compound in Pakistan in 2011, secret reconnaissance and counterterrorism. On the actual battlefield, both units have worked very well together many times on hostage rescue missions in eastern Afghanistan in 2012, in a mission called Operation Jubilee. SAS and SEAL coordinate, free the hostages held in 2 caves, successful destruction of the rebels while the hostages are unharmed. But there are many commonalities in power. The ability to endure both physically and mentally. The difference in the training process between SEAL and SAS is still very significant. While the SEAL's training program, it's about the ability to coordinate groups, coordinate with other units at the same time. The SAS training program focus more on the ability to carry out individual tasks in the direction of independent operations. So SEAL's duties include SEAL Team 6. It also often acts as a supplement of major campaigns. But in situations, it requires long-term combat in war hotspots, or immediately after the enemy general, even in poor conditions. The minimum equipment, or the battlefield, is constantly changing. The survival skills the SAS's cover proved a lot more appropriate compared to SEAL. But also the Russians' Alpha, or Sayeret Matkal of Israel. So SEAL and SAS, they all deserve to be role models for any task force, depending on request, mission, and operational environment, even though they can't act as a force, solve the battlefield, or change the course of a war. But the emergence of these super elite warriors is indispensable in specific tasks, from harassment to assassination to rescue.